One of the biggest games that was being hyped up in this early NBA season, I mean, granted, we're after All-Star break, was Zion and LeBron being on the same floor against each other. These two forces of nature, okay? These two faces of basketball. LeBron, the man that was selling out arenas in high school, the man that had a Hummer by his junior year, the man that was on the cover of Sports Illustrated and had a Nike deal before he even got out of high school, the man who went straight to the NBA and has done nothing but do everything that everybody's talked about. No massive PR scandals. Never really treated anybody poorly. I mean, granted, there's probably some story somewhere about him doing something, but in a day and age where everything LeBron James has done has been an fishbowl. The decision, obviously, poor decision. The decision turned out to be a bad one. Him trying to patent Taco Tuesday, everything. I mean, there's a lot of potential poor, but in the grand scheme of things, no arrests, no massive affairs against his wife, which in the NBA, I could assume if you're 19 years old traveling around the world and you're the biggest superstar on earth, there could be a lot of potential temptation. LeBron has lived up to the hype and then some. Yeah. Everything they said LeBron James is going to be, he has done. He's a champion, went to 7 straight finals or 8 straight finals or something like that. He's become the leader of the NBA. He's become a big brother to almost everybody in the association. He is handled being a superstar almost to perfection. Mm-hmm. There's a couple things we obviously don't agree with. The decision
no one's perfect.
No one's perfect. But in a position that LeBron James was placed in at the age of 16, I think he has displayed himself and portrayed himself and done an incredible job of handling all the pressure that comes with it. I would assume that Zion has watched LeBron throughout his entire life and said, okay, that's a guy that has done it the right way. Zion obviously grows up in a different era, the social media era, the internet era, the sharing era. The highlights get seen by millions and millions of people. Even if you're in a tiny town in Carolina and you're dunking on white people, that video is going to get viewed by a lot of people everywhere. Zion has been famous for a long time. Zion was famous long before he got to Duke. Zion has been known and revered and loved by a lot of humans for a long time. And when he went to Duke, it was a decision that nobody understood because nobody expected him to do so. Mm-hmm. But he's a team guy, friendly guy, happy guy, high work ethic guy. And when he and LeBron step on the court against each other, it's like, okay, here's the present greatness of the NBA, which is LeBron James, and the future face of the NBA, Zion, taking each other on. And what I learned about Zion last night is that Zion is very much at the point already where he's not scared of anybody.
No.
Anthony Davis, he and Anthony Davis were battling underneath. Zion defensively is almost as good as Zion offensively, which is something that I don't think anybody could have predicted. I think a lot of people thought he was too small. I think a lot of people thought he wasn't going to be able to do it in the NBA. He's been able to handle himself on the defensive side of the ball. He hasn't been a liability at all on the defensive side of the ball. And on the offensive side of the ball, he's banging underneath. He's hitting shots. The oops are spectacular. And I think he is living up to all the hype that has already been made about Zion. Now, granted, what that does is that brings out the best in the OGs, which is LeBron James. Just like Jay Williams said about Kobe Bryant whenever he went into the LA Lakers Coliseum or Staples Center, whatever it was at the time, and he was going to get a shoot-around before his first game in LA, and he saw on the other side of the court was Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant went through the hardest workout he's ever seen somebody do all by himself in that shoot-around, and then that night he went on to drop 30-something on Jay Williams. Jay Williams asked him after the game. He said, hey, man, what was that your shoot-around? Was that normal? What was that all about? And Kobe told him, well, I saw you in there, and I want to let you know this is how it goes. I feel like last night LeBron was letting Zion know that in year 17, this is how I go. Yamming on people, just absolutely yakking on that dude after Mr. Caruso goes between the legs, hitting step backs, being aggressive underneath, playing harder, I think, than most people would assume for a midseason game against a team below 500. Now, the Lakers are 28-2 now against teams below 500. They do not stoop to their competition, which is what LeBron does, by the way. A good leader can help you do that.
Correct.
But last night was a different LeBron James. It was playoff LeBron James. It was late season LeBron James. And it was awesome to watch. And just like you said in the first hour, massive compliment to Zion. And I'm very happy, especially in the world that we're in right now. The current state of the world. The current state of the world, which is a state of emergency. Last night, in Los Angeles on TNT, we got to watch a hell of a show by two incredible athletes. Zion dropped 29, Braun dropped 40, Brandon Ingram is 22 years old, dropped 35. It was a great basketball game from beginning to end. Now, beginning, they're up 13 or whatever. But by the end, it was a great basketball game. And the two highlights of the game going in put on a show, and that's what I'm here for. Good for the association. Well, hello there. Utilize the promo code PAYTHEBILLS and get $20 off your first order from SeatGeek. Now, back to the magic.
Yeah, and last night it was awesome because I was watching the present in Anthony Davis and LeBron versus the future in Brandon Ingram and Zion.
Hey, let's not sell Zoe short. Let's not sell Lonzo Ball short, okay? He's only like 20 years old or something like that.
Yeah, he's
21.
Young. His shot's improved. He's getting better. So it's getting better. He got away from his dad, and he's gotten better. But Zion's been preparing for this forever, just like LeBron was preparing for it forever. He was on Sports Illustrated cover when he was very, very young. Zion's mom told him to watch three players. It came out the other day when he was growing up: Magic, Larry Bird, and then Michael Jordan. But to watch full games of Michael Jordan, don't just watch highlights. Like, watch how he played the full game. So he has been preparing to be a great like those guys for his entire life. Like, since I assume he knew at 10 years old he was going to be great.
I think his first dunk was potentially at 11. Yeah, I feel like I've been watching him on the internet for 20 years.
And then Zion going up against Anthony Davis, who is probably 4 or 5 inches taller than him last night, and holding his ground because he has that body for that type, and he's so explosive that he could get up and contend shots. I mean, Zion's great, and then offense where they just run and run and run, and he is great on the break. He's a great finisher. I love that, and like I said in the first hour, this is the dream matchup in the first round for the NBA and in the Western Conference.
Which, by the way, the Pelicans are on a playoff push right now. They are on a playoff push, trying to get
3 games back from Memphis, and Memphis just lost one of their young players for a few weeks. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see Ja and Zion trying to get that 8th spot to go against LeBron and AD.
And also win Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
Whoever gets the 8th.
Do you have an opinion? Do you think playing less than half the season?
No. I think it's almost more impressive. I think it's almost more impressive that he didn't have the chance to play the first half of the season and get like the kind of the jitters out, and he's just been kind of dropped into midseason play, and now they're on a playoff push. They were a bad team before he got out. Granted, a lot of promise. They'd won like 14 or 15 games, whatever it was, before he got in there. But now that he's got in there, there's a different energy to the team. He's like, it was literally like Tannehill. It was like when Tannehill was dropped into the Titans. That's what Zion has been for the Pelicans, and he's a rookie who never played in the NBA, probably had a little self-doubt. Hey, I could play great in college. I could play great in high school. Why be able to do this in the NBA? He's dropped in right in the middle of the season. Now they're on a playoff push, and he's one of the biggest superstars on the planet already.
Here's the thing with LeBron and Zion, too. When LeBron's off the court, they go from the Lakers to basically the Golden State Warriors as far as plus-minus is concerned. And the same thing happens when Zion comes off the court for the Pelicans, too. They are so important to their team.
Hey, good for the Pelicans, too, by the way. The Pelicans only got bad PR before this.
Yes.
Anthony Davis wants to leave.
The mascot.
They're naming themselves the Pelicans. I mean, there was a lot of problems for the New Orleans Pelicans. You get Zion Williamson in there. Good kid. Great basketball player. I mean, that is good for them.